there and take you live to Melbourne, where the Prime Minister is attending Labor's by-election campaign launch for the seat of Aston. He's due to deliver a speech shortly. Let's go there now.
And thank you to the wonderful Julian Hill as well. Okay, I'm Mary Doyle. I'm a mum. I live in the Outer East, and I want to stand up for locals as your federal member for Aston. From my earliest years, my family and I have seen firsthand how Labor governments deliver positive and vital changes to people's lives. My big brother Kevin, he didn't have to go off and fight in Vietnam, and this is because Gough Whitlam's government ended conscription. My mum, she got her pension paid into her bank account, not into her husband's. And I don't know how my family and plenty of families like mine would have survived without this change. Again, Gough's government did that for people like my mum. And of course it was the Hawke government which brought back Medicare after the Liberals dismantled it. Sadly, the importance of that became crystal clear to me as a young adult. I was shocked to be diagnosed with breast cancer when I was only 25. I was the first in my family to be met with this diagnosis, and I don't have the gene for it. Under the same circumstances, if I'd been born in the US, I would probably not have survived. I would not have been able to afford an ultrasound, mammogram, and numerous other tests and operations which ultimately saved my young life. But I am here now. And that is the value of Medicare, and I will always, always fight to defend it. After I married my husband and we had two gorgeous little kids to look after, they're here now, I worked part-time. My family needed childcare. We aspired to get ahead in paying off our mortgage, and we needed both of our incomes. I also wanted to keep my foot in the door with my career, and that's something professional mums everywhere really understand. But childcare was ludicrously expensive, but it was essential to us, to our children, and to our aspirations as a family. And you know what? People in Boronia, Bayswater, Rowville and Montana, they say to me that that burden exists now for them. And with childcare costs soaring 41% under the Liberals. But you should see the look on their faces when I tell them relief is on the way. Yeah. The Albanese government's cheaper childcare plan will make a huge difference for working families all over the country. And I'm so happy to say that as of the 1st of July this year, the cheaper childcare plan will benefit 5,700 families right here in Aston. And when I'm out talking to locals, it's clear some people are doing it tough. What they tell me is they want politicians focused on doing things about it, not arguing for argument's sake. We know the Liberals are saying no to manufacturing, no to Made in Australia, no to affordable housing. And my opponent even says no to cheaper childcare for working families. But I'm here because I want to be part of the team that says yes to making the lives of people out in the outer eastern suburbs much better. I want to be part of the team delivering on the Albanese government's commitments for the people of Aston, the people of Victoria and the people of Australia. I want to be part of the team that's delivering cheaper medicines, saving Victorians millions of dollars already since it came into force on the 1st of January. Fee-free TAFE to train the next generation for good, secure jobs. delivering cheaper childcare for the 5,700 families right here in Aston. I also know we need Medicare to be stronger after a decade of neglect from the Liberals. That will be a big focus in the next couple of years, and I want to be a part of that, bringing the perspectives of the people in Aston so that Medicare works better for them. Now, look, I know, I think everyone knows, I'm not a career politician. I don't talk in sound bites, and I probably won't be on the news every day. But I can promise you this, between now and the 1st of April, I'll be working my bum off, talking to as many people as possible, offering them the choice of a better future at this by-election. And when I'm out and about, you know what else people in Boronia, Bayswater, Rowville and Wantirna also tell me? They tell me that since May last year, it feels like the adults are back in charge again. There's an audible sigh of relief to have a competent, sensible government leading the nation again. A government that is dealing with the challenges left to them, dealing with the challenges facing everyday Australians and delivering a better future. A government led by this bloke, he's upfront, he tells it straight and understands the issues that are facing working families in the outer suburbs. It is an absolute honour to introduce my friend and the 31st Prime Minister of Australia, Anthony Albanese.
Thanks so much, Mary. It's great to be here. I begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet, and I pay my respect to their elders past, present and emerging, and I'm proud to lead a government that's committed to implementing the Uluru Statement from the Heart in full. Friends, I'm sorry we're a little bit late. It's a long way from Brunswick. The speech that we've just heard from my friend Mary Doyle, her story is why this by-election really does matter. A child like me from public housing, a suburban mum to 2 beautiful kids, a mortgage holder who knows the stress on family budgets, a woman who has worked for 25 years building a career in finance and in industrial relations, a working parent who has seen firsthand and knows the difference that cheaper childcare will make to families in this region, 5,700 of them, a cancer survivor who knows the true meaning of Medicare, that everyone gets the help they need when they need it with their Medicare card, not with the balance on their credit card. A proud citizen of the Outer East who cares about her community and the environment, and someone driven by the oldest and deepest Australian aspiration. That aspiration that Australians have that drives us to want something better for our kids than we enjoyed. A better quality of life, a better local and national and global environment, and an Australia that is more inclusive as we go forward in the future. A land of opportunity. Because as everyone who knows Mary understands, she's not doing this for herself, for her CV. She hasn't shopped around for what seat she wants to run for. She ran for this seat to represent this community 1 year ago, and she's having a crack again. Mary Doyle is running for Parliament because she cares about people. Mary Doyle is running for Parliament because she understands the difference that good government can make to the lives of those who desperately need a good government. More than that, she believes that good government has a responsibility to improve people's lives. And Mary Doyle will be a voice for this community in what is a good government. Working for a better future for this community, but a better future as well for all Australians. Friends, all of you appreciate that what we're trying to do here in Aston has not been done for 100 years. No government for over 100 years has won a by-election in a seat held by the opposition. But here's the thing. No government for over 75 years had reduced the cost of medicines in the pharmaceutical benefit scheme until we did it on January 1. No government in the 121 years since Federation had a majority of women in it, but we didn't. Government had delivered 10 days paid domestic and family violence leave, but we didn't. No government had legislated cuts to emissions with real action on climate change to create jobs, but we did it. It's what Labor governments do. We make history. We don't just occupy the space for its own sake. Labor governments change lives and Labor governments shape the future. Mary Doyle knows this because Mary Doyle's life, as she's just gone through that extraordinary personal story, is about how government made her life better. How it made it better in terms of healthcare, in education, in opportunity for women. Mary Doyle can be a part of the next chapter of the Labor government I'm proud to lead by winning this by-election. But no pressure on any of you here. But we are relying upon you to deliver the new chapter in the great Australian Labor story. You can make Mary Doyle part of a Labor government that is expanding paid parental leave to a full 6 months on July 1. You can make Mary Doyle part of a Labor government that is introducing cheaper childcare for 5,700 families here in Aston from July 1. Because we understand that cheaper childcare isn't just about the family budget, although that is of critical importance. It's also about economic reform, that thing that wasn't happening over the previous decade. Women's workforce participation. It's about productivity growth as well as population. The 3 Ps of economic growth are all covered off with our cheaper childcare plan. That's why it was the highest on-budget commitment that I made as the Labor leader from opposition. That was the time when opposition leaders actually had policies other than just saying no. We put it forward in my first budget reply and we campaigned for it for 3 years. And on July 1, it comes in, making an enormous difference. Mary can also be a part of a Labor government that's seizing the opportunity for Australia to be a renewable energy superpower. A Labor government that is creating 180,000 fee-free TAFE places to fill the skills shortage. And a Labor government that's building an economy that nourishes aspiration with good job security, fair pay and equal opportunity for all. A Labor government dedicated to delivering security. Now, security for the other side, sometimes you'll hear them talk about it, it's usually about scare campaigns. We understand that security for people is about our national security, which we are doing. We're doing it through the international arrangements we're putting in place by upgrading our defence assets. We know you can't defend the country with a press release. You've got to defend it with actual capacity on the ground. We're making sure that border security stays strong. We're making sure that climate change is a part of our national security agenda, including repairing the relationships with the world that had been trashed, whether it be our European friends like France or whether it be the relationships in our neighbourhood and in our region, including the Indo-Pacific. There's been a transformation in the way that Australia is seen around the world, now seen as a country that once again can be trusted, and that is absolutely critical for us going forward. But we also understand that security is about social policy. It is about the security of knowing that Medicare will be there for you when you need it. It's about fixing the crisis in aged care. It's about building affordable housing for those who need it. We have a range of legislation before the Parliament at the moment that will be voted upon before this by-election. National Reconstruction Fund, aimed at building manufacturing jobs and new industries in this country. The safeguard mechanism, they even vote against their own mechanisms, is how bad it's got. Taking action on climate change, and the Housing Australia Future Fund, which will provide emergency housing for women and children escaping domestic violence. But they're opposed to that as well. There is nothing that is being proposed before the Parliament that the coalition, that I call the no-alition, won't say no to. But you can't actually run a country by just deciding that you're opposed to everything. The alternative government of this country is not fulfilling their responsibility to actually be an alternative. They are just saying no, which is why we need to do much better. As you've seen today, Mary is a champion for the outer eastern suburbs, and she would be a fantastic local member and advocate, a great addition to a great team. We're seeking to take Australia beyond the division and denial, the neglect and delay, the chaos and confusion, the stunts and short-termism of the last wasted decade. People in Aston can vote to add Mary Doyle to a Labor government working every day to restore a sense of purpose and respect and integrity to politics, which is why we introduced the legislation and carried it for a national anti-corruption commission. But opposite, they've learnt nothing, they've changed nothing, they are proposing nothing, and they're saying no to everything. They truly are Scott Morrison's Liberal leftovers. Well, our country deserves better. Your community deserves better. And friends, I know that Mary's been working every waking minute to earn the privilege of serving this growing community. But in the weeks ahead, she needs your help. Your efforts are going to decide this by-election, because we can never match the Liberals on donors or dollars, but they can never match us on the power and passion of our people, of the true believers in this room. So between now and 6 p.m. on polling day, every hour and every conversation matters. And it's the phone calls you make, the doors you knock on, the people you speak to, at the train station, at local sport, at community events, even on the booth, whether it be on pre-poll or on the booth on the day of the 1st of April. Every bit of energy that you can spare will make a difference. Every conversation that you have will help people focus on the choice and the opportunity that is there in this by-election. The chance for people in Bayswater or Ferntree Gully or Rowville to make someone who has lived the Labor journey part of a Labor government. We do have a chance to make history, friends. More importantly, we've got the opportunity to build a better future. So let's get out there and do it.
I reckon you can. What do you reckon? Let's make Mary Doyle the new Labor member for Aston.
Okay, that was the Prime Minister Anthony Albanese launching Labor's campaign ahead of the by-election in Aston coming up in a few weeks' time, the first weekend of April in Melbourne, launching his candidate that he's standing next to there, Mary Doyle, and we will have all the updates throughout the afternoon with our reporter on site.